Yeah. So once you launch browser and once you navigate to some web page, suppose through Selenium code, okay, so you have a code to trigger the browser, open the browser. So whenever you create this instance, automatically it opens the browser. Okay, for navigating to some website, you are using navigate method or get method. And also we are maximizing the window if it opens in a minimize mode. But then what I have to do after opening? After opening, what I have to do? So here, after opening the website, any website, you will perform some actions. Okay, actions are you will click or you will set some values. Suppose if you want to search some material, some like some item in the website, you will search for it, right? Okay, so here again, after setting some value, again you will click option. Okay, the provided option. Again, whatever the like item you required, okay, that item price you will check, or if you want to check, you will open it by clicking it. And also, if you want to note down the price, you will copy and paste it into your notepad or somewhere else, right? So in real world, we will do the things like this. Okay, coming to automation testing, what we have to do after opening this website. Okay, basically, before starting your automation testing, you should have a proper test flow to perform the automation testing. Proper test flow means you have to construct one manual testing flow. Suppose if you want to perform some automation test, okay, like manual testing, so everything we can perform through the automation testing. Whenever you want to decide to test the things through automation, first you have to create a manual test flow. What I have to do? That manual test I have to create the same process, the manual process, whatever you create, that you have to convert into automation test. Okay, you should not open some browser, some randomly click some items, or randomly set some items, randomly taking some data to your local. Okay, you will not do that. So manual test flow should be there. Whatever you want, that flow should be defined before proceeding with the automation testing. What you have to test, that you have to decide, that flow you have to create, then you have to proceed with those actions. Okay, so whatever the action we perform, like send keys, setting the data, we call it as send keys. Okay, so these click actions, we call it as click only. Again, you will click. Okay, and sometimes you have to fetch the data. Okay, that we call it as get data or get text. Okay, like that we have some predefined Java methods. Using those methods are nothing but some actions. Using those methods, we can perform the actions on the browsers. Actions on browser. So you have to create some test flow for the verification. Verification is like, suppose after launching, I have to search for iPhone. Okay. After setting iPhone, I have to click iPhone 15 Pro Max. I have to click on that. The test flow I'm explaining. So here I have to verify the price of iPhone 15 Pro. Okay, no result is showing here. The mobile price it is not showing. It is showing some other product prices and other products. So my verification is failed here, right? It has to display when I select iPhone 15 Pro Max. It has to display the phone related search items that I have to verify. For the verification, you have to set some expected text. So here it is showing some other text. Your expected text must be different. You are expecting some iPhone Pro Max, and also the price should be same price should be shown as some some value. Okay, some value it has to show, but it is not showing anything. It is showing some other product. So here the result is fail. So you have to set the expected price. You have to set the expected text. What are the text you want to display? Because you are the developer. Okay, you are the implementer of this site. You know everything, what it has to display and how it has to display. You know everything. You already know your expectation, right? That you are testing in real time. Once you're done with your development, you are testing that by opening the application, whether it is displaying or not properly or not. You have to verify. You already have the expected statement. So your expected statement is the price. It had to show some expected price, and the text it is displaying, it has to show that text. But as per your requirement, it is not displaying, so you will make it as a fail in manual testing also. In automation test also, we will do the same. But performing these actions, setting some value here in the search box and clicking on search or selecting some item in the drop down, okay, that is your choice, right? Okay, these are the actions: setting the value, clicking the search button, verification, okay, all these values. Okay, so as you know that it is a search box, here you have to search, here you need to click, all these things you know. But how your automation test code will know where to set this text, where to click, and where to verify? Your automation code doesn't know, right? Okay, so you have to make your code, okay, to identify this search box or this search button or this result text or result price. You have to make your code to identify these like items. Okay, identify these results, identify this search box, identify this search icon. Okay, how it can identify? How it can identify? Okay, so basically, whatever is displaying on this website, whatever the data it is displaying on this website, it is implemented with HTML. Okay, hypertext markup language. Okay, while implementing HTML code for each and every text, every search box or every link, every button, okay, every checkbox, radio button. So we have different drop downs, list drop downs, tables, images. Okay, for each and everything, they will use different elements. Okay, in HTML, the terminology is each item displaying on the web page, they display with the elements, HTML elements or HTML tags. Suppose if they want to display some checkbox, they will use the checkbox related element or a checkbox related tag. For search box, again some tag. For icon, this icon, again some tag, like that. Okay. So for links also they will put some drop down. From drop down also, this kind of drop downs, list drop downs. Okay. And also radio buttons, everything they create with the HTML language. With the help of HTML elements, they will display. So which means, so if you want to know which object related to which element, which object means here search box is there. This search box is related to which HTML element you have to know. Suppose if there is a link, this link is related to which HTML element you have to know. So then only you will take that information. Then only you can take that information. Then you can perform the actions on browser. Okay, if you want to set some value into this search box, first you have to identify this search box. How you can identify? Using the HTML element. Okay, so again in HTML element, they will create multiple elements with the same element name. Okay, so we'll have tags, with the same tag name, they will create different elements. Suppose let's for example, if you take these links, for all these links, element will be same only. Okay, but how we can differentiate these elements? Okay, generally HTML developers, they put the properties for each element. Suppose if we take the human beings, okay, how we can differentiate the human beings, each one? Okay, so we set some properties, right? Some properties like name, okay, some gender, some color, some height. Okay, so based on the features, okay, we set the properties to differentiate the humans. Okay, similarly here also in HTML also, they will set the properties for each element. Okay, if they have the same name, same element name, to differentiate they will set different properties. Okay, that information also we have to take. So finally, if you want to work with Selenium automation testing, if you want to interact with the browser, what you have to do is, so you have to first know the HTML elements, the background of this web page you have to know. If you want to check the background of this web page, so just simply press F12 button. Okay, so my laptop has some function keywords. Okay, use function F12. It is opened some window, right? So this window we call it as developer tool. Which developer? UI developer tool. Here you have element section. If you want to know the elements of this entire web page, okay, so if they want to create this website, they will use the HTML elements. If you want to see the HTML elements of these website, click on element section. Okay, here, see, some arrow symbol is there, right, with square, half square. Select that. So suppose if you want to check this search box is implemented with which element, just you need to inspect that. Okay, they have used input element to implement this search box. Okay, so let me create one HTML web page. HTML web page. Let me create. So new. We can also implement the HTML. It is a very easy language. Okay, so let me open some text file. Let me open with Notepad++, because in Notepad++ we can see the names of elements in a different color. Okay, if you want to create any web page, HTML page, you have to save the file name with .html extension. Okay, here also this entire document, okay, saved with .html. It is a type of HTML file. Okay, it is a .html document. Okay, so let me create in a similar way. So Amazon.html. Okay, so I will save on desktop, save it. Okay, now I have the Amazon HTML. Let me do one thing. So here I copy the same code, this entire code. This entire code I will copy. Let me copy. Select all. So here copy outer HTML. Okay, let me copy outer HTML. And also we have one more option, sources. Okay, sources it is not displaying, so generally source also we can access. So if you want to copy the entire HTML document, so we have one option basically. It is not copying. Edit as HTML, expand, copy is there. Copy, let me copy outer HTML. So let me paste it into my document. Yeah, it is copied. Everything is copied. Okay, from HTML root element to, okay, So here HTML root element 2. Here it has to show closing HTML as well. Yeah, closing HTML also is there. Okay, save it. Okay, so let me rename it as Amazon 1. Okay, where it is, refresh. So this is the file I created. So let me create as Amazon 1. It is not taking. It is not taking. It has to take. Okay, the file is in a open mode. It is asking to close it. Does not anymore. Okay, yes, no problem. So let me make it as Amazon 1. It is in open state. Close it, then try. Save file as Amazon 1 to make the difference only. Just putting the name as Amazon 1. Okay, it is created already. So do you want to rename Amazon.html to Amazon 2.html? No. Refresh it. Okay, it is already created some HTML. Okay. If you open this file, it also opens like a Amazon website. Okay. So if you want, you can alter this page also. You can alter this page also. Okay, so let's open this HTML page, what it is displaying. Okay, images may not load because for images you need to like store those images, whatever the images Amazon using, those you need to store into some folder. That folder path you have to show. You have to like connect with those folders. So here HTML page will load, but the content, we will see whether it is loading or not. So still it is loading. Let's see. See, same like Amazon website. Okay, it is created one web page, right? Okay, you can also, if you have some knowledge in HTML, so you can also create your own web page like Amazon. I just copied that code. That is the reason it is showing the same page. Okay, what I do is I will change a few things in this website. Okay, so here it is showing as this is Amazon picture, I think so. Okay, so let me go to this, and so this is my HTML document. Okay, these are the scripts. Okay, come to body section. There are some links also. Here I have body section. Okay, inside body, so we have different things, scripts again. Okay, so I navigate to the other header section. So here in the body section, okay, so let move it to the next part. So all these are some customized. Okay, so to alter, there are no hard-coded values. Okay, here some options it is showing, right? Select options from where search drop down. In the search drop down, it is showing some options. By default, some options it is showing. Okay, if I want to change it, I can change also. If I want to change, I can change also. If I want to change the image, that also I can change. Okay, here search Amazon, something is showing, right? Here it is showing search Amazon, right? Okay, what I do is search Google, save it. If you refresh it, it shows as a search Google. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, after loading, okay, it has to display search Google. Still it is loading. Okay, you can create your own tags, and okay, so here by default it is taking iPhone Pro Max, right? What you can do is, so let me remove this. This is not required. Okay, 1 second, Control Z. Okay, so this is search Google, and by default it is taking some iPhone 15. So that I remove value, I remove. Yes, I remove this value. Save. Then go to this file, refresh it. So still it is showing as Amazon only now. Wait. Okay, I changed it to search Google instead of Amazon. Okay, default area label, search Google. Go button is there, and also here something, choose language, shopping. So like that we have different 0 items in cart. All these things we can change it. Okay, so still here it is showing Amazon only. Why it is showing Amazon? Even though we change it. Is this Amazon 1.html? And so this file name is ama.1html only. Yes, correct. Okay, search Amazon. So let me check. So here, see, here placeholder, change it to Google. I had changed right earlier. I think it is auto-filling now. So let me check how it is taking. Okay, here I have changed it to search Google, but while refresh again, it is changing it seems. Let me recheck again. See, now it is showing search Google. Okay, if you want to change image also you can change. If you want to change India, or if you want to change today's deals. Okay, so today's deals label is there, right? Today's deals is there here. Let me put it as yesterday's deals. Yesterday's deals. Okay, let me search this again. Okay, here again it is showing today's deals. Find next. Here yesterday's deals I will put. Yesterday's deals. Again find we have any others. So here also it is showing today's deals only. To left, again search for it. Okay. Okay, now if you refresh it, okay, this will change to yesterday's deals. See. So here what I'm trying to explain is, okay. So whatever the data you put in the HTML element, that will be rendered onto the HTML page or on your website. So if you want, you can also create your own HTML page. Okay, so if you are trying to test some web application that is implemented with HTML only. Okay, while they implement, they use the HTML tags. So this blue color are HTML tags. Okay, we can have duplicate tags also. For suppose if you observe here, this li tag has duplicate one, right? This is duplicate and this is duplicate. To differentiate these elements, they set the properties for each element, like how we have names and other properties, other features. Similarly, HTML developers to differentiate each element if they are having the same tag name, they will set the different properties for that element. Okay, if you take this class is different and this one is different, which means you can differentiate these two by class value, and also it has some extra property or it has some extra tag like that. Okay, so if you want to identify some search box here, this search box, what we have to do is, so to inspect that element information, this element information, if you want to inspect, just select this inspector, just click here. For this is the input tag they have used to identify this element. Here it has some properties. ID it has. Most of the time, ID will be the unique. You can copy this entire ID. What you can do is Control F, just put the square brackets, put that ID. Okay. If you enter, see it is able to identify that element. So now we can use this ID to set some text into this search box through coding. Okay, first identify that element, perform the action on that element. First, what we have to do? We have to identify the element, then perform the action. Okay, so this ID, if you want to specify more, this ID belongs to input tag, input element, right? You can use that also, input also. Suppose if you use only input without specifying the properties, so you have 155 inputs. So if you check the search result, with the same tag name, there are 155 elements. Input elements are there, 155 input elements are there. To differentiate this particular input, we have ID, this ID. Okay, input which is having the ID 2-tab search text box is only one input. Okay, that also you can see in the HTML document. So basically this entire page we call it as a document. Okay, in this document we have HTML elements. Okay, so now to perform any action through coding, what the very first step is, first you need to identify that element with its properties. After identifying, you can perform the action. You can, so as a human, you know, directly by seeing this text box, you are going here, you are identifying directly. But how your code will identify? You have to provide some input for that. That input will be your HTML tags and its properties. Okay. So based on the tags and its properties, to identify these elements, we have different methods. Okay, let me open one screenshot. Okay, basically, while implementing these HTML code, HTML developers, the main properties for the tag, what they put is the main property is a not property. First one is tag name. First one is tag name. Okay, tag name is nothing but element. Okay, for this tag name, they put the properties like ID, name, class name. Okay, what is class name? Why they set this class name? Okay, in HTML technology, UI technology, we have Bootstrap CSS is one of the concept. Bootstrap CSS, Bootstrap. Bootstrap is nothing but, suppose if you create some elements, HTML elements, by default, those elements doesn't contain any styles. Okay, doesn't contain any styles. So if you look at your web page, it has different styles. Okay, each text is having different style. So this text is having different style and this text is having different style. So if you observe here, see, these are having some different style. Each one is having different styles. Okay. So here, if you observe here, all these links are having the same style. These results are having the same style. Okay. So here account list, order, cart are the different style, which means, so in bootstrapped CSS, we have different class names, different class names. When they use that class name, that style will be applied to these elements. If they use that style for some elements, some group of elements, okay, it will be rendered in that style. Okay, so CSS is nothing but, so bootstrap CSS is nothing but, so by default, somebody has implemented some classes. Those classes they will apply to the element. Okay, if you observe this document, so here also, so we are using class. So HTML item, H menu, back button. This is a class basically. This is one class and this is one class. Two different classes they are using to render this element in such way. Okay. So see, do not compare with Java. So here class names can be in smaller letters in JavaScript. Okay, these are not JavaScript, CSS related cascade style sheets. When they apply this class, some style will be applied. Okay, so sometimes we can have unique class property. Okay, this is also one property. Fine. Okay, so basically they assign ID, name, class name. Okay, these three properties are, they will assign at least. Sometimes you cannot find these three also, but at least you can find the class name. Class name may not be unique because for all these elements they are applying same class name, which means duplicate class name also you can find. Suppose let me inspect this element. Okay, so for this element we have class nav a class nav a. Let me try to identify the element with class name. We have 5 elements. See here the result at the mouse pointer. We have 5 elements. So all these 5 elements having the same class name. Again, when you try to click on, when we are using class name, which element it will click? It will confuse, right? On which drop down I have to click. It will confuse. Again, we have to differentiate. Today's deals, if it is today's deals, if you want to click on today's deals, it has to identify it as a single element by its properties. So how to differentiate, we will discuss. Okay. So basically developers, while implementing HTML developers, they will set the properties like ID, name, class name. Okay. So when you are automating, when you are trying to identify some element, you can identify with ID. You can identify, suppose if it is having unique ID. Okay. So in our case, for this such element, we have the unique ID. That is the reason we are getting. That is the reason we are getting single element if I use ID. See, let me copy this ID and search for it. Okay, so here it is showing as 2, but for it won't consider if you mention it as ID equals to some value like this. If you put it in the square bracket, it gives you 1. This ID you can use to identify this such element by through coding. Okay, so similarly, if they create tag for link, okay, so they create with the anchor tag. Links generally they use the anchor tag. Suppose if you take some link here, when you click on today's link, okay, so it is navigating some page means it is a link. Okay, for link they use anchor tag. Okay, anchor tag. So anchor tag is nothing but link. Okay, to identify the link, okay, we have different methods in Selenium. Okay, so for identifying the link, we have link text, partial link text. methods. Okay, everything is a method here, whatever I'm writing. Okay, we have tag name. Suppose if you have the unique tag, if you have the unique tag, you can use the unique tag name to identify the particular element. Suppose if you have multiple elements with the same tag name, by its properties you can differentiate. You can differentiate with ID or name or class name or together. You can use any combination. Okay, for links also you can follow the same approach. But we have direct option because each and every link have unique name. See, unique names. You cannot find same link. You cannot find same name with two different links. You cannot find. When you click on today's days, it will navigate to today's days only. Okay. So if you have same name, today's deals, here also if you put today's deals for customer service, which one you will choose? Okay, you will confuse, right? For each and every link, they will put the unique names. Okay. So in that case, to identify the link names we have, by its text, we can identify with these two methods. Okay. So we have, if we want to use combination or group of these properties, okay, if you want to identify only with ID, we have ID method. If you want to only identify with name, we have name method, class name method. For tag name method. But if you want to use these combinations, tag name, ID, tag name and its properties. So along with the tag name, and also I want to use the properties of this tag name. So to use that, we have CSS selector. Okay. Similarly, we have XPath. Okay, based on the nearby element, if I want to identify, suppose here, if I want to, so it has some prop. So same thing I have here. Today's deals. Some other element also available here. But you want to click on this today's deals element. Okay, so while you're performing the action, it will confuse. Here also today's deals you have. Here also today's deals you have. Which one it has to click? Suppose if you want to take the nearby element help to identify this, based on this all, I want to identify this today's dates. Like that also we can write the code. It will take the help of this all, near to this all, it will try to identify this today's dates. Okay, to do that we require XPath. Okay, what is XPath also we'll discuss. So basically we have total, how many these are? 4, 2, 6 and 2, 8. 8 methods to find the elements, or technically we call it as to locate the element. In a web page, we have 8 methods. All these are method names. Okay, 8 methods to locate the elements. So that is the reason these we call it as locators. Okay, locators in Selenium. So locators are, you can locate the tag, you can locate the element with its name, its tag name. You can locate the elements by ID, locate the element by name, locate the element by class name, locate it's with text. For links only it will be applicable, not for other elements. Okay, CSS selector, if you want to use the combination, and XPath. These 8 are the locators to locate a element. As a human being, you are directly locating this element or you are directly clicking here. But through coding, if you want to locate this element, you have to use the locators. After locating the element, you will perform the action. Okay, so action like setting some text, clicking on search button, selecting the value from drop down, clicking the checkbox, selecting the checkbox, clicking the radio button. Okay, similarly, if you want to get the text from here, copy the text from the browser, all these things are actions. Okay, before performing the action, where you need to perform the action, that you need to specify to your code. How you can specify that your code? By locating the element. To locate the element, we have the locators. See, these are the locators: ID, name, class name, tag name, link test, partial link test, CSS, and XPath. These are the 8 locators which are there in the by class. Class name is a by. Inside that, all these methods are static methods. All these methods are static methods. Suppose if you have a static method, how you will access without creating the object? How we can access static method without creating the object?
By name, calling names.
By calling class name, right? Class name dot method name, class name dot variable name. Similarly, if you want to use these methods, what you have to do is you have to call like by dot id, by dot name, by dot class name, by dot tag name, like that. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let me take, instead of using Amazon website, what I do is I will create, I will take some other example. Okay, I have some sample application. It is an open source. Here, using that application, we can cover almost all the scenarios from Selenium side. So here, OpenMRS. Okay, this is the website. Okay, let me open this first one. So let me check whether it is working or not. This is HTML. Okay, bad gateway. Okay, so let me use this URL. Yeah, this URL is working. Okay, let's see. Error, uncaught exception. This is also not working. Let me check in Google. This is an open source application. So in this application, we can cover all the scenarios from Selenium side. OpenMRS. Okay, so here, so demo is there, right? So generally demo application we use for our automation. OpenMRS 3, OpenMRS 2, anything you can use. Okay, enter the OpenMRS demo 3. Okay, so this is the application only, but it is not opening now. Some error is showing it is. Okay, let me check with OpenMRS 2. This is bad gateway. Okay, so explore this one. No, so it is not working as of now. What we can do is, so we can automate this website itself. Okay, instead of going to demo application, if you want to automate this also, you can automate directly. But let's see. But in these applications, we can cover all the scenarios. That's why I'm trying to open these websites. Or we have some Guru site, Guru bank application, some kind of application is there. Okay, for the initial part, I will use that. Error fetch new session information, server responded. Okay, so they have stopped the server. That is the problem with this website. Okay, let me use some other application. Yeah, so here project bank Guru. Okay, let's see this. So version 2, version 4 we have. So let me use version 4. Okay, so it is like some bank application. Okay, so for this we need to generate the credentials. Okay, so let me click here. Email ID, you can give your email ID. Or So if you submit here, okay, username and password, you can use this username and password. This is the username and this is the password. Okay. So now what you can do is you can go to the home page. What I have to do is, so let me copy the same URL. Okay, here user ID and password. The user ID we already have, this user ID and password you can use to log in. Yeah, so login successful. So now, so this application you have to automate. Okay, it is like some bank application. So you can see the bank functionalities. So adding the customer, edit the customer. Okay, so delete the customer. Okay, deposit if you want to deposit some amount. Okay, withdraw amount for fund transfer related. So you have different functionalities. Okay, these we can now use it for the page object pattern in Selenium. Okay, so we will automate, we will proceed with this application because the other application is not working. That is very good application for automation. It is very simple. This one is very simple to automate, but unfortunately it is not working. But let's see. So if it works, that also I will explain. But first we go with this application. Okay, and also you have logout option. Yeah. So let me launch this application. Okay, the URL is, this is the URL. Okay, so let me create a separate test file for this. So where is our project? So this one in src Selenium demo. So let me create new class Guru Bank Test or Bank App Test. Instead of specifying some name, Bank Application Test. So first I write the code in a static approach. Everything I will define in the main method, then I will convert into methods, then I will convert into different classes, then I will convert into page pattern model. Then we can use the unit test libraries. Like that, we will implement. Okay, so finish it. Okay, so from here I copy few code. So here up to till launching the browser, it is same. Okay, is there any change? Nothing, right? It is same for setting the property. Okay, so this is the set property. What are the property we said that we are reading here, and also current directory path we are fetching with this with the help of this system.get property user directory. Yeah, so now if I launch, browser will be launched. So now if you want to open that website, you have the get method. So instead of using navigate, I'm using get method. Get method accepts what it is accepting, you have to check. So get, see, it is a void method, it will not return anything. It is accepting string. What is that string? String as a website. Website address you have to provide. Okay, the website address is, you can copy this and paste here. And also for maximizing the browser, yesterday we have seen, just copy it and paste here. So this is up to launching the browser. Okay, this is up to launching the browser. So let me run it. Yeah, it is open and maximized also. Okay, it is open the browser and maximize the browser also. Okay, so if you want to close it, you have a method to close, that is dot close, driver dot close. Okay, if you want to convert into methods, what you have to do? Just write a method. Okay, public method, void method, launch bank application. What you will do is you cut this code from here and paste it here. Okay, so whenever you are using driver instance across all methods, if you are using a driver instance, what you have to do? You have to declare this driver instance outside of all methods. Okay, when you declare outside of all methods, you can use it for all the methods. But if you declare it as a instance, you cannot directly access into static. What you have to do? Make it as static. Okay, for closing the browser, what you have to do? Write one more method, public void close application. Okay, in close application, just call this method. Call this method. Okay, so if you want to make it a static, okay, you can write static. Now you have to call these methods into your main method. So create an object for it, bank application test, new bank application test. Okay, call these methods. Launch browser, launch bank application. Okay, so every time, okay, this URL changes, you should not hardcode this value, pass from here. So here, string URL. This URL you can pass it to get method. Whatever the URL you pass, that it will launch. If you pass Google, Google will be launched. If you pass this URL will be launched. Okay, after opening the browser, okay, after maximizing it, so I will close it. To close the browser, you return one more method, close method, close bank application. Okay, bank test dot close application. Okay, run it. So you just converted into methods. The operation will be same only. So it will open the bank application. Then it will close after opening the bank application. Yeah, it is opened, maximize and closed. So now you have to log into the bank application. So if you want to log in, what you have to do? First step. First, you need to identify the username and password. These username and password text boxes. Then you have to click on this login. To click again, you have to identify this login button. Then you can perform the action. First, what you have to do is you have to identify these three elements. Okay, to identify these three elements, what you have to do? You have to click on inspect. Okay, so this particular element is a input. It has some ID. It has some name. First of all, let me check with the name whether it is unique or not. Put the square brackets. Yes, it is a unique, which means you can use the ID method. You can use the name method. Okay, so now log into application. Okay, my driver dot. If you want to find some element, we have find element. Okay, in a web page, if you want to find some element, you have find element. So with which property you want to find? You want to find with the tag name, you want to find with ID, name, class name, or XPath, CSS selector. Which one you want to use? Okay, which one you want to use? That you have to specify here. Okay, if you want to identify with the ID, you have a ID method, but ID method is available in by class. Okay, if you want to use by class, you have to use by. And if you want to use that static method, ID method or name method, you can use directly ID or name or class name. You can use anything. So here my requirement is I can identify this particular element with its name. So what I do is I use name method. The name value you have to pass. Okay, no need to use this name equals to because it is already a name. If you pass direct value to your name method, it can identify. Okay, this by class is available in Selenium only. Import it. Import it. So what you can do is basically you can create by username equals to. So you can call like this and you can pass here this username. Okay, instead of writing into two different statements, what you can do is you can club together these two. Okay, why to waste the memory for unnecessary variable? Now you are able to identify this element. Okay, when you identify this element with find elements with name, what it will return? Okay, you have identified the element basically with its name. Okay, so obviously it returns the element. Obviously it returns the element. But to represent the element, we have a class, web element class. It is also available in Selenium that you have to import. Web element. So now, if you want to perform some action on it, you can perform. See, it is a text box. Okay, so manually, what we will do the action. Okay, so we will set the username, right? So if you want to set the username, we have method send keys method. Send keys. Okay, whatever the username you want to pass, that you can pass with the send keys method. If you want to set some text, what is my username? So my username is some manager 531 some value. Okay, instead of writing these two into different elements, what you can do is this entire thing, you are directly performing the action, right? You can directly merge together. You can directly write this. Okay, what it will do? So it will directly set the username. That action it will perform. You have identified the element, then setting the text. One by one action. Chaining of methods. See. Chaining of methods. So let me run it. Whether it is setting or not, let's see. See, it is closing immediately. So if you want to wait for some time, you can use thread.sleep also. If you want to make your execution to sleep mode for some time, we can use the thread.sleep. So in my laptop, it is taking so much time to launch the browser, but in your system, it might. See, it is setting, but the problem is it is immediately closing. So what I do is I will put some thread.sleep after setting the value dot sleep. Some 5 seconds I will put. So it throws some error. Declare it. Interrupted exception. Interrupted exception means so thread is executing. You are wantedly interrupting it. by sleeping it. Okay, that is the reason you are getting interrupted exception when you use thread.sleep. Okay, so let me run again. After setting the username, it waits for 5 seconds, then it will close. So maximize the browser, set the username, then wait for 5 seconds, then it will close the browser after 5 seconds. So similarly, if you want to set the password, okay, identify this element with its properties. It has name again, it doesn't contain ID. So WFD ID is different from normal ID. Okay, you should have like this. ID equals to message 18 is there, right? Similarly, you should have. So again, I will identify this element with the name only. Okay, the same thing you can use. Just copy this. So the value different now for password. Again, you have to send the password. This is Q at run. Okay. So wait for 5 more seconds after setting the password. Then close it. What happened? Something is happened now. It is stopped executing the. So it is showing as started, but the execution status it is showing as stopped. Okay, let me rerun. Chrome driver was started successfully like that it was showing earlier. Okay, it has restarted. It has to set username and password. Then it has to close the browser. So if somebody already having the knowledge, basic knowledge, so initially you might get some bore, but after few days you will get to know. Okay, so what are the various things we will do with the automation code? So set username, set password. It has to set the password also after 5 seconds. Yeah, set the password, then wait for 5 seconds, then it will close. So now our next action is clicking on login, right? So identify that element again. Identify the element, perform the action. Again, it has
కొట్టే అది కొడితే పోద్ది పైకి లేసా పెట్టి మీద కొడితే పోద్ది అది
1 second. See, if you are in class, please don't unmute yourself. Whenever you have some doubt, that time only unmute yourself, then ask. Okay, do not disturb in the middle by unmuting yourself. Okay, so now identify, okay, you have button login. Okay, name you have, so search whether you have unique or not. It is a unique, again it is a name. Okay, use the same method like this. Okay, so now the value is button login. Okay, copy that value. So now what is your action on the button? Are you setting any value? No, right? Here you are performing the action, click action. To perform the click action, we have method click. We have method click. to perform the click action. After clicking on the button, so wait for 5 seconds, then close the application. Now it will log in. Okay. So now it has to set the username, then it has to set password, then click on login, wait for 5 seconds, then close the browser. So after login, so we have to verify. Okay, we have to verify login is successful or not. For each and every action, not each and every action. Suppose if you are checking the functionality, so you have to set some expected condition. Okay, if you are checking the login functionality, you have to verify whether it is login successfully or not. Okay, similarly for logout, for other actions also. See, it has a login. Okay, so here how you will verify whether it is logged properly or not. Okay, so what I do is, so this code I will convert into method. Okay, so here what I do, public void login to application. Login to application. So your credentials might change, right? Suppose for you might be some credentials, you have some credentials, some other person has some other credentials, right? So instead of hard coding the credentials like this, whenever you require, so that time pass the credentials. So as of now, what you have to do is just copy this code. Okay, so login application. So these values. So now put the thread.sleep at method level. Instead of hard coding these values, what I do is I will pass through the method string username string password. Okay, do not hard code any value when you are converting to methods. Methods are for reusability purpose, right? Methods are reusability purpose. Again, these values also we will not hard code. These we will write into some other class. Those we will call into our methods. Okay, so what is the error it is showing? Syntax token error. Somewhere we are using dot put com. So what I do is, so let me put some. Okay, so now while calling this method login to application, you will pass the username and password. Username and password you will pass. So what is my username and password? You have to pass here. So let's copy from our file. So this is the username. Suppose if some other person wants to use with some other credentials, he calls the same method but with different credentials. Okay. So login. Okay, verify login. After login, you have to verify it. So how I will verify is, so let me log in from here. So this is the file. This is the username, then password, login. So here, see manager ID. Manager ID it is showing as whatever the ID we are giving, it is showing the same manager ID. Okay, after login, if it is displays this manager ID, it means it is logged in. Or if you are able to find logout, it is logged into application, because after login only will get the logout, right? So here it is a link. Suppose if you inspect it, it is a link anchor tag. So to identify the links, you can directly identify with the link text. So if you have tags, two tags, opening tag and closing tag, between if you have any text, that we call it as tag text. Okay, it is a link text, it is a link, you can call it as link text. Suppose if you have some label, so label you can call it as a label text. So suppose if you identify this is a TD text. Okay. So this one you cannot identify with the link text method. Only links only we have option to identify the links with its text. We have method link text. Okay, let me write here. I'm putting the condition if after login, okay, your driver dot find element, if it is able to find the element by link text. What is the link text here? This is the text which is bounded in the opening tag and closing tag. Okay, so put the tag here. Okay, if it is, this is the element now. This is the element now. What it is? Logout element, right? Which is a type of web element. Logout element, it is a web element. If your logout element is displayed, if it is displayed, then you can make you can make this test as pass. So here one bracket is missing. Okay. You can make it as login is pass. Login pass. Suppose if it is not available, else if it is not displayed, then what you have to do? Login is failed. Okay. So you can convert. Okay, you can convert this method, this code into method. Okay, verify login method. It doesn't accept any value. Okay, and also it doesn't return any value. Okay, if you want to return true or false, that also you can do. Okay, let me make it as more like modular way. So let me put it as I want to, if it is available, I want to return as true. If it is not available, I want to return as false. Boolean, I want to return. What is the statement you are using? This statement, right? So here, what I do is, I don't want to use extra parameter also, remove it. This element dot is displayed. Okay, if it is displayed, then I will return it. Okay, when you use this displayed, it will return true or false. That I want to return. What you can do, simply you can call this method here, the direct method here. So you already written the code that you put it into some method, that method you are calling. If it is returning true, then false, or returning false, it will be fail. So one more thing you can do. Okay, instead of writing in this format, what I do is element I will return. So here, instead of Boolean, what I do is web element. Because it returns web element, right? It returns web element. How? Home, web element, logout element equals to this one. This you can return, right? Instead of returning with some other parameter, other argument, I'm directly returning this value. Okay, so let's return like this for your understanding. Now what you have to do is verify login. When you call verify login, what it returns? It returns the web element. Now you can check dot is displayed. This will also work. Or instead of writing this everything, what you can do is, I don't want to return anything, void. Okay, I don't want to return anything. This is the web element. If it is displayed, login pass. Okay, you can write your programming as per your own understanding and own feasibility. Okay, so verify login I will call here. Bank text dot verify login. Okay, if it is finding the logout button, then it will make the test as pass, or it will make the test as fail. Okay, let me run it. So the other application we have, right, that is a very good application for automation learning, automation Selenium automation test learning. But I will check. Otherwise I will try to get a similar application. Actually, I thought it works, but suddenly it stopped working. So similar application I will get, and that we will automate. It is a very simple application. It is a beginner level application. It is whatever we are automating. Okay, see login pass. Okay, if it is fails, you will get the fails message. But once login fail, if you want to stop the execution, you don't want to close the browser. If you want to stop the execution, so with these print statements, you cannot stop. Okay, for that purpose, we have unit test libraries, assertions. Okay, let me write some assertion. Assert dot assert, not assert. So assertions. So if you want to use the assertions, okay. So what you have to do is you have to add some library to your package. Okay, unit test library. Okay, so by default we will get the JUnit test library along with the Java installation that you can add. Go to build path, configure build path, add libraries. Okay, so here add library, JUnit, next, JUnit file, finish, apply and close. So once you add the JUnit library, you can use JUnit features. Okay, I want to use assertion. Okay, assertion dot assert dot assert. It is still showing assertions. Okay, anything is fine. Assertions dot assert equals, you can use anything. Assertions dot assert equals okay. So here you have to pass the actual and expected. Okay, my actual is, okay, whenever I call this is displayed method, it is returning true, right? My expectation is true. Okay, so here also, see, now no need to use the else condition. Now no need to use the else condition, and no need to use the if condition also. Let me do one thing. Cut it. Comment this. Paste this one. Okay, so if I run this, if the assertion is pass, then it will continue the bank close application. Okay, so let me check it whether it is closing or not. So after login, so it has to verify that logout. If it is available, okay, it will make the test case as pass, and also it generates one default report also. Okay, so here it is not generating anything. Okay, let it be. See, it is pass. Suppose if whenever it is passed, then only it will proceed to the next lines. Okay, so here I want to make it as fail. I will put the capital O. When I put text as capital O, it cannot find that link text because the O is small over there. Okay, it will fail the test case now. So let me rerun again. Okay, for the failed cases, I want to show some example with the assertion. So here, if you use the if condition, it won't fail the test. It will execute the entire statements and also it will just print the login is failed, like that. It will show the message. But if the test is failing, we have to make that test as fail. So remaining statements, it will not be executed. If you want to execute the remaining test cases, even though it fails, we have another approach that we will discuss later. You need to convert your code into modules and units. That time, whenever it fails, it continue with the other module execution. So now it has to fail the execution. Let's see whether it is moving to the next statement or not. So let me open Eclipse. See, it has failed now. That is the reason it is not closed. No such element exception. With this logout, no such element is available. Okay, that is the reason it is failing the test case. So your assertions always executes, continue the execution if your condition is always meets the true. Okay, actual and expected, whenever these two are matching, then only this can allow the next statement's execution. Okay, if we convert your code into different modules, that is different. That particular module will fail, it will continue with the next module execution. Okay, what are those we will discuss in the future. So yeah, if you want to like perform some action on browser, first what you have to do, identify the elements in the browser. Okay, and then perform the action. So here in this application, these are very basic locators. I mean, basic identifiers. Okay, basic locators. That is the reason you are able to automate very simply. Okay, so if you take complex applications, okay, it is not that much easy to identify the elements uniquely. Okay, you need to write complex locators using CSS selector, XPath. Okay, so for that purpose, okay, to make the website as identify the elements as complex one, I have prepared one HTML page, just plain HTML page. Okay, don't expect much. It is a single document, plain HTML page. Okay, you will not find the colors also for that web page. But identifying the elements in that web page is very tough. But how to identify with different approaches, different formats? Okay, I will explain tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow what I do is first I will explain the HTML document creation. Okay, what are all the tags represents the UI objects. For suppose if it is a list, what is the tag for that list element? Okay, for that list object, what is the code, HTML code behind the document, behind that object? For input, for text box, what is the element they use for the HTML? Similarly, for button, what they use? For radio button, for checkbox, what are the elements they use in HTML? First, that I will explain. So that by looking at the web page only, you have to, like identify whether it is a link, or it is a text, or it is a input box, or you have to identify. So by looking at this element, by placing the mouse only, I can tell that it is a link. Okay, if you see, now I clicked on delete add customer, right? Add new account. If you inspect it, it is a link. See, it is a link. By looking at that only, I can tell that whether it is a link or input or what. So this is a input tag. Let me inspect it. If you go to the backend code, it is a input. See, okay, this is a select. This one is a select tag. Inspect it. See, this is a select tag. So how I am able to identify? Because I know the HTML tags. What are the tags they use for different UI objects, right? So similarly, tomorrow I will explain what are the tags they use to develop the HTML page. After that, we can discuss with the locators how to identify those elements. Okay, so let me stop recording.